This is Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Voyager class, Thundertron, the Star Seeker. The figure is part of, I think, the fourth wave of Voyager class figures for the Robots in Disguise toy line of Transformers Prime. I hate to say this, folks, but I have a lot of love for the Transformers Prime figures, and this figure kind of let me down just a little bit. It had a lot of potential, not a little bit, more than I thought it would. It had a lot of potential, tremendous amount of potential. Sculpt was great. The whole idea of a pirate in the Transformers Prime, an adaptation of a pirate for Transformers Prime, was nice. But the way this figure had been executed, I think it was lacking in a lot of aspects. Anyway, I love the Beast Wars shows. Really wasn't that impressed with the Beast War toys. Some were okay, a lot were just lacking. But don't get me wrong, folks, Beast toys are okay, in my opinion. I have a lot of love for the Transformers Universe Dinobot as well as Cheetor. But for this particular figure, it's getting very hard to recommend this as I do the review. Anyway, just to cap off the rant. The figure had a lot of good things going for it, but in the final product, I think Hasbro could have done better. So what else is new, right? Here is the packaging. He's in somewhat like looks like a Leo Prime character. Anyway, here is his picture. And Thundertron, there you go. Does he have a bio? Yes, apparently he does. Ages ago, Thundertron swore that the creatures that caused the destruction of their world would pay for their crimes. And since then, he's wandered in space in search of his revenge. His ship is primed. His crew... Oh, okay, fine. Anyway, and the rest of the assortment is Ultra Magnus. So, the pirate, he's got a peg leg. As you can see, that's a nice touch. He's got clear forearms and a mech tech gimmick that is it's a great gimmick, but I wish there was a way to lock it. It lights up. It's a nice sword, a claw that has a sword. I wish it would lock up. It doesn't. It just stays there, rendering this one practically useless, except for that gimmick. The other hand has a removable claw, which actually in turn forms his foot, so you can pretend that he didn't lose his foot. He hasn't lost his foot, and he's not peg-legged yet, and he's got both feet on the ground. So that's that. His head sculpt kind of reminds me of Alpha Trion. It doesn't clear the chest piece as much. It's kind of annoying. The beard just kind of gets in the way of him swiveling his neck, so you can't really do him in a lot of emotive poses. It's a nice sculpt to see a lot of these aspects about a beast toy that you don't really see much of the beast, except for the head and the tail. Everything else will pass as a piece of a robot, and yet it feels a little bit flimsy at times. The blue plastic kind of looks cheap at certain angles. And playability for this one, I think it's very limited because there's a lot of pieces that could just pop off and break or be damaged permanently. It's a really scary thought to actually have kids run around and go play with this guy because he just feels so fragile. Anyway, articulation's got a ball jointed neck, no torso or chest articulation. He's got a ball jointed shoulder, which is again hindered by all these kibble. He's got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow, hinge wrist because of transformation. He's got a ball jointed hip, thigh swivel, hinge knee, and a hinge ankle. So that's that. The one thing going for this one, it's not a shell former, and it's not a typical crouch on all fours and he becomes the animal. It sort of does that, but there are some nuances to the transformation, which I thought was great. But when you get to transform him into his beast mode, the beast mode is very disappointing, which I'll get to right now. So, transform him to beast mode. It can be cumbersome if you don't go through the instructions properly and you don't figure out some things. So go ahead and lift this part of his eyebrows. Detach these like that. Go ahead and detach the front part, and this one is spring-loaded. Paint apps. Talking about paint apps, they're okay. Sorry, putting back. They're okay. Just like Ultra Magnus, very little quality issues, and light piping is just not there. Okay, so move this one up like that, and his face gets covered. Go ahead and fold this to form the mane of the lion. This one you gotta split his hips like that. Go ahead and attach this back part like that, and the tail is made of rubbery plastic. Onto the arms, go ahead and fold them inward like that. Fold them inward like that. Yeah. That's just been the story of this figure since I opened him up. Fold this one up. This one here. These go here, and these go here. These go here, I think. Yeah. Go ahead, and there's a notch right there onto this flat peg, like that. Same here. This one rotate like that, and fold. Oops, did I break anything? Like that. This one like this. And this is the annoying bit about this. There's a lot of tabs and grooves, but none of them seem to hold very well. Like these should tab into those, and it just does not hold very well. And if you do manage to tab them together, it loses all articulation in beast mode. The legs are they just sit like that. The front legs are just like that, and you can just move them up and down and rotate like that. That's it. Onto the legs, rotate 180, the thighs, and then rotate these again 180. And that's just it. And these, they're supposed to tab in somewhere, but they just sit there. And that is lion mode. I was expecting more of a Voltron lion, but this one is just a skinny ass lion, and it's just the front part, the head is great, but everything else is just kind of weird and disappointing. And there's the faction symbol for the pirate. Sorry, I forgot to do a size comparison. You can see how much Voyager class figures have really gone small. Even if you stand him up, even with his head pointed upwards, he's still shorter than this one. Yeah, very, very disappointed with this figure. And the transformation just doesn't click with me, pun intended. You can put this one, and again, this stupid gimmick. It's just really useless. So if you're just a casual Transformers collector, I say pass. Wait for it on clearance. If you're a big fan of Transformers Prime, you're a completist, I think this guy's going to be a peg warmer. You can wait for it to go on clearance. If you love the Beast Wars, you might want to take a look at this one, but it might disappoint you. But this one gets display-wise, he could pass. He's a good pass for me. But just pass. He's nothing like I would, go out and rave about. It's just it just falls short in a lot of things for me to give it a good grade. I guess again, as I said, the only saving grace it has is how well it looks good on the shelf in robot mode, and that's probably the saving grace. Everything else is it's just there, but doesn't really quite hit it, or just really wows you in any way. It just doesn't do that. So this guy gets, I want to give it a 6 out of 10, but you know, people will say I'm mean. Maybe 6 or 7 out of 10. 6, and robot mode will probably get a 7 out of 10. Overall, it's just a 6.5 out of 10. So there you go, folks. You know, even if you hate this figure, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please, if you did, please add it to your thumbs up. Click the thumbs up icon and add it to your favorites or share it with your friends. Check out my videos on YouTube at Chefatron and FX Friends, as well as I do post videos on Tech Sushi. Go follow my Twitter posts, twitter.com/FXFriends, where I post all my toy purchases and upcoming reviews. Toy hauls are on keek.com/FXFriends, and toy sightings locally here in Manila are on Instagram at FXFriends. There you go, folks. This has been the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager class Thundertron Star Seeker. Thanks for watching.